Hey everyone, Depressed Eeyore here. This is Sid Meier's Civilization 5. This is going to be quick and simple. Unfortunately, I screwed up on either recording or in rendering my videos, and I lost part 1. People have noticed that quote-unquote part 1 is starting on like turn 50 something. Which conveniently enough is one of my saves, so at least that's accurate. But yeah, apparently I lost the entire first part. My only guess is my recordings, the way they're titled, is based off their date and time that they've been recorded. And sometimes when I go over from AM to PM, the order of the videos gets messed up because it's based off numbers, not the letters. Um, and during that mix-up, that's probably where I lost part 1. Quickly going over my what videos I do have, because I've already recorded this entire playthrough with Mima. I noticed that part 3 was part 14 of Inte again, so I went ahead and deleted that. I quickly took a comparison, at least of turn numbers of all the starts of my videos, and it seems like everything's okay. I reordered them. Part 1's still going to be quote-unquote part 1, but I'm going to put this part in front of it and probably call it part oops or part screw-up or something like that, just to explain that part 1 is missing. So you essentially missed like the beginning where I was explaining what this what this civilization does, which, to be honest, I don't at that time of recording it, I actually didn't entirely have a full grasp of what Mima could do, though that will become apparent as the playthrough goes on. So I'll go ahead and do a brief explanation of Mima and the 3 civilizations we ran into. One of them I'm pretty sure we're familiar with from Inte, the Oni clans, but I'll go ahead and go over them anyway, just to cover all my bases. Besides that, it was literally the first few turns, so it's pretty much just exploration and trying to get certain... I probably rushed for the Great Library or again, something like that, and I think I managed to pull it off. But other than that, I was just working on tech and trying to figure out where to put my cities and stuff like that. So, I'm going to just do a setup game, and what we're going to do here is I'm just going to quickly pull up Mima. So her gimmick is libraries, universities, and artifact sites will actually produce fate. And then when going to ward, cast spells for unique effects. Now, the cast spells part was what I was really confused about. When I was reading on the forums about this, supposedly it got nerfed, but supposedly it didn't get nerfed, and so I wasn't really sure what it did. She has a unique unit, the Sorceress. It comes around the same time as you get the Composite Bowmen, and they stay. They stay for the entire time. So you can be all the way to the future era, and you can still create Sorceresses. So the way the Sorceress works is you discover them with Philosophy. So once you get them at Philosophy, and they have a ranged attack similar to the Composite Bowman, and they have a special ability called Summon Skeletons, what they can do is they can spend Faith to get a skeleton whose melee strength is based off the era you are in. For the most part, it's pretty equivalent, maybe slightly ahead of whatever current era you are in. It does cap out at a certain point, though. They're really good in the early game, and then after that, they're pretty much just good for spawn busting and things like that. I don't think they actually cost upkeep to have, which is kind of interesting. One thing to note, though, is the more skeletons you have already made, the higher the faith cost is to create more of them. So it gets exponentially more expensive very quickly. And then she has a unique tile improvement called the Crypt, and it requires pottery. And the way crypts can, and the only restriction is crypts cannot be adjacent to each other, so there has to be at least a 1 space gap between crypts in all directions. What it does at the start, you get it at pottery, is you get +1 faith and +1 gold to that tile. And then if you get theology, it increases to 2 faith and 2 gold. Also, if you try to build a crypt over a artifact site, it becomes a relic crypt, which gives +4 faith and +2 gold. So you can really build up a lot of faith and gold pretty quickly with Mima, just by spamming these crypts. There's also one additional thing that crypts can do, but since I didn't know about it until later, I will not mention it here. It'll be a surprise to everybody, except for people who already know about this this faction. Okay, so that takes care of the faction we're playing as. I'll probably read the intro in a little bit, but first I'm going to go ahead and go over the civilizations we did run into between part 1 and part 2. Or in this case, the part that doesn't exist. Anyway, so we ran into 3 civilizations, I believe. Give or take. Yeah, 3 civilizations. We ran into the Oni tribes, the Palace of Earth Spirits, and Moria Shrine. So I'll quickly talk about Moria Shrine. Moria Shrine, I'm actually, let's see, Kanako, there you are. Some of these I might have already gone over in the previous playthrough, but I'm just going to make sure you guys are clear on it. Moria was actually, Shrine was actually the first civilization I tested out before actually starting this Let's Play. So I'm a little bit familiar with this, this civ. So the way they work is they gain faith upon discovering any new technologies. And cities will generate 1 science for every 2 faith, which is insane. So the more faith you get, the more science you get. So, which I guess kind of makes sense because, I don't know, a lot of the fan games I've played, Sene usually has things about technology and stuff like that for some reason. Anyway, also any mountains in the city's borders gives 1 faith and one science, no matter what. So if you just spam tile by some mountains, because you're going to have to, because mountains are usually the last thing you get, expansion-wise, you can immediately give yourself a tech and faith boost, which is pretty powerful. She also has the Taisha, which is, it replaces a temple. It generates an additional 1 faith for every 2 worshippers who follow the majority religion in your capital. So it's also in addition to temple's normal effects. So this thing's like a super temple, and it's pretty good. And then their unique unit is the Yamato Swordsman. It replaces the Swordsman. It does not require iron, so that's already makes it fantastic. And it gains 1 additional combat strength for every 4 faith you generate per turn, to a maximum of 6. Upgrades to musketmen, like always. So you get a swordsman that you can make without iron, which is great because for some reason I always have bad luck with strategic resources. And it gets stronger based off the number of faith points you get per turn, which in most cases, if you're taking advantage of our strengths, you're going to have plenty of faith. So you're going to have a unit that's stronger than swordsman that you can make as many as you want, which makes her a very good early religious warfare type civ, from what I can tell. When I experimented with this civ, what I did was I took the one option where you could spend faith to buy early era units, and I used that to kind of just start my own little crusade and just started wrecking the opposition in my continent. So that is our closest neighbor. So what else we got? Suika, I believe, is the other one. There's Suika. Suika we have pretty good experience with, but I'll go ahead and go over her real quick. So let me find my page for that. Alright, Oni clans. Unique ability is the Onikakushi, which pre-gunpowder melee units heal after destroying any enemy unit. Capturing enemy cities increases the population in the capital, and each time a city increases the population, you gain points towards a great general. So yeah, she gets great generals. Her unique unit is a great general called the Kishin. It replaces the great general. It reduces the strength of enemy units by within 2 tiles by 10%. So not only does it bolster your own troops, it weakens everyone else's troops. Its only disadvantage is it cannot build citadels, but what it can do is it can be used for golden ages. So it's a general that can't make citadels, but it can produce golden ages, which is pretty important, especially if you're going to war a lot, because you get a lot of generals that you just can't use. You get so many of them. Her unique building is the brewery, which gives +3 food, as well as +1 food from wheat, bananas, deer, wine, and citrus. These bonuses are doubled during Golden Ages. Melee and recon units trained in a city with a brewery receives a unique Drunken Master promotion, which I don't know what that does. And it also, in this building, replaces the granary. Also allows the creation of internal trade routes to exchange food as a granary. Okay, so yeah, it's just like a granary, it's replaced. Okay, so Oni clans, and then the last one was the Palace of Earth Spirits, Atsuha Ryuji. Her unique ability is Subterranean Ambition, +2 science for mines. All penalties for fallout are inverted to bonuses, so she functions better in nuclear fallout, go figure. And she gets +2 science from essentially all mines, which is pretty important because that means she's producing a lot more. She's high production and high science. She does have 2 unique abilities. Let's see what they are. As soon as I figure out what page it's on. Alzora Spirits. So unique building, the Hell Furnace. So that's over there. Hell Furnace. It replaces the Forge. It gives plus 15% production to all military units, which I think is actually an improvement because I think Forge only did melee originally. And it does plus 1 production for each source of iron and uranium, which I think is an improvement as well. I believe originally it was just iron, so it also includes uranium, and also generates 1 of each. So Atsu has the ability to produce forges that produce strategic resources. She can get uranium and iron really early. Well, not iron, but, well, not... In the case of uranium, really early. In iron, it's pretty much got the normal rate. But the fact she can produce her own iron is actually pretty important, because that means she doesn't have to rely on expanding or trading with people to get her own iron. And then her unique unit is the Yatagarasu, which is, it replaces the Great War Bomber. It starts with the range upgrade, requires no resources, and can be built with the discovery of steam power. So her faction is can get the aerial warfare stuff sooner than any other faction. I'm pretty certain, because steam power is pretty early. And it starts with the range upgrade, and it's essentially a Great War Bomber. So having that during that transition period gives her a significant advantage, because there's not going to be anyone that can combat air at that time. Assuming I remember things right. Anyway, so that's everything there. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly load one of my saves. As you can see, I have all these Mima stuffs. So close your eyes if you didn't want to be spoiled, I guess. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and load turn 0 and go ahead and get that started. So I'm going to load it. Hopefully this doesn't cut out. I'm going to go ahead and read it here, and I'll check to see if that worked. So, greetings to you, Mima, the most notable evil spirit of Gensokyo. In the past, you were sealed within the Hokora of the Hakare Shrine, but even the sacred wards there could not confine you for long. Breaking free of the seals, you caused trouble and mischief across Gensokyo on numerous occasions. However, despite being an evil spirit and claiming to be interested in vengeance against the human race, you have acted on their behalf on occasion, such as the time you intervened to stop the demons invading the human world from Akai, although in the end, you simply pestered Reimu more as demons infested their shrine. Your magic is renowned as perhaps some of the most devastatingly powerful in Gensokyo, with the greatest of your spells potentially able to break the Hakare barrier that keeps Gensokyo isolated and protected. It is also believed that you helped train Marisa Kurosame as your apprentice, or at very least served as a role model and inspiration to her in her magical studies. Powerful and capricious Mima, will you show these upstart humans and yokai who is truly the greatest spirit in Gensokyo? Will you aspire to become a god, or simply bring the human world under your control? Can you conjure a civilization that will stand the test of time? And this is where we started. I believe I went ahead and settled in place. Yeah, I'm pretty certain I settled in place. Just to get the cotton and all that stuff. But you guys will see that soon enough, I guess. Besides that, let's take a quick look at steam power. When do you get steam power? Okay, you get steam power in the industrial era, so you do get it 1 tech sooner than flight. So yeah, it's still a jump, but yeah. As far as victory conditions, as far as what I'm going to be striving for victory-wise, I'm actually, I was not very certain of what I was going to go for at all. So I'll just leave that to you guys to see as I go along. So yeah, I apologize once again. It's not, I've never had this happen where I just lost a video like this. Usually it's because of some stupid stuff which happened in the past. Tech issues and all that, but yeah, I don't know what happened. So I apologize. I'm hoping I could do a little bit better in the future when I have more time. I have been dealing with a lot of schoolwork and trying to get a job and stuff like that, so my life has been rather hectic, to say the least. But I've been trying to also find time to get videos up so you guys can watch them and enjoy them. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this despite my mess-ups, and for those who have been watching, thank you guys for watching. So I definitely mean it. It means a lot to me. So hopefully you guys will experience Mima with me, because I believe the rest of the parts are fine. It's from part 1, which is now technically part 2. It's going to keep going until I complete it. I will say this, because I do say this later on in the series, but I'm going to go ahead and say it now. Since I've been having kind of an easy time, just with Civ 5 in general, I've been playing on King difficulty. I generally don't like the difficulty system because it doesn't make the AI smarter, it just gives them more stuff, and I don't like that. But for the sake of just exploring and testing my limits and stuff like that, for the next civilization after this one, I will up the difficulty by 1. I'm also going to go ahead and drop city-states, because city-states kind of break the game a lot of times, because I usually get them all, and once I get them all, it's a snowball effect. I literally just keep getting more and more free stuff, and the AI just cannot keep up. So I'm going to be shutting down city-states and upping the difficulty. Also, I'm going to go ahead and make it completely random, so it's going to be a possible mixture of Toho and regular civilizations, while I still continue playing various Toho modded civs and see how that goes. So you guys will get to see the comparison between Toho civs and regular civs. Also, it'll be my first time playing without any city-states, so it'll be kind of unique that way too. It's also my first time going higher than King difficulty, so we'll see how that goes as well. So, with all that said and done, I'll let you guys just continue with the series with Mima. I apologize again. I cannot apologize enough. I hate when I make these sorts of mistakes. But yeah, for those who've been watching, thanks. And I hope you guys keep watching. I'm the Depressed Viewer. This was Sid Meier's Civilization 5, which is going to be with Mima. And hope you guys, well, enjoy it. See you guys.